In my opinion, beginners often lack the knowledge and time to effectively structure their workouts in optimal ways, which is to be expected, of course. So they tend to start off following a standard workout routine, again, often with little knowledge of why the workout is structured as such. So in this video, I'll show you guys my beginner chest and tricep workout that I used, which focuses on hypertrophy, which means muscle growth, so you can follow along and learn. I'll be going over what exercises hit which muscle groups, why we do them, and other tips such as form to prevent injuries. So today we'll be hitting chest and triceps. Generally, when you work out, you want to hit the larger group first so it doesn't hinder your ability to hit the other. So for example, chest movements require the chest, shoulders, and triceps. If we started off the workout with triceps, our heavier chest workouts would be hindered because our triceps are no longer in peak condition. And hitting chest first allows us to go all out for that muscle group and then continue on to triceps without any effect from the previous workouts, since tricep workouts don't require chest, if that makes sense. Yeah, so we'll be dividing the chest and tricep workouts into 3 exercises each, so 6 exercises total today. And first we're going to hit the middle area of our chest in our biggest movement, which is the flat bench. So here I'm going to be varying the amount of reps I do. Some terminology: a 1 rep max is the maximum amount of weight that you can do for 1 rep, and we'll be basing our weight off percentages of the 1 rep max. So for example, if your 1 rep max is 225 pounds, or 2 plates on the bench, then 75% of that would be about 165 pounds. So lay flat, grab the bar at a width where your forearms are still parallel on the lowest part of the movement. Too narrow and you'll be shifting the weight onto the triceps, which we don't want to do. And as far as grip goes, line up your middle finger with the rings on the bar and keep your wrist straight, almost like you're punching towards the ceiling. You want to get into the habit of keeping your wrist straight because, over time, if you're benching really heavy and your wrists are just bent the whole time, it's going to cause issues moving forward, and you're probably going to have to end up using wrist straps like me. Like I said earlier, we'll be focusing on hypertrophy. So for my first 2 sets, I'm going to do 75% of my 1 rep max for 8 reps each. 8 to 12 reps is the general recommendation for muscle growth, but for a big compound movement like the bench press, it doesn't hurt to go a little bit heavier, for example like 6 reps. And you'll notice my forearms are parallel on the lowest part of the movement, and I also do the entire range of motion. For beginners, this is all good habits to get into. The last 2 sets I go a bit heavier, and I do 80% of my 1 rep max for 6 reps each, I think, yeah. And remember, we're trying to go as heavy as we can, since we'll be performing higher volumes today for the purpose of hypertrophy or muscle growth. So that means more sets and more reps for lighter weights rather than the opposite. Next, we'll move on to the incline dumbbell press, which is going to allow us to better focus on the upper chest. So to warm up a bit and remind ourselves to start pushing upwards rather than straight out in front, for my first set I'm going to do 8 reps of 80%, and the following 3 sets I'm going to do 8 reps of 90%. After you figure out those weights, find yourself an adjustable seat and then drop it to about a 30-degree angle. Bring your weights up. You can bring it onto your knees and then kick it up as you lean back, it doesn't matter. Retract your shoulder blades and then lay on them, and make sure you keep your feet planted. Don't be tapping them, don't be moving them around. And then begin bringing down the weights to just above chest level, and then when you're pushing back up, kind of push it back towards the center. It's a bit hard to explain, so if you just kind of look at the motions that I'm doing, you'll get a better idea of it. This is probably my favorite chest exercise since I can go heavier without a spotter. It also helps fill out your upper torso because it hits some front delts too. After 4 sets of that, we're going to do our last chest exercise for the lower chest with the decline cable fly. So bring each side of the cable to the highest point, grab the handles, and take a step while leaning forward. Then open up your elbows a bit, but keep it slightly bent, and then bring each side in front of you, kind of like you're clapping, but like in front of your stomach. Since this is our last exercise, we can rep out a little bit and bring it closer to failure. So for my first set, I'm going to be doing 12 reps, and the last 3 sets, I'm going to be doing 10 reps. Again, bring each set close to failure, because after that, we'll be moving on to the triceps. If you're a beginner, you should be feeling it a bit in your triceps by now, just from the chest exercises we did. And now we'll do 3 more exercises to finish up our workout. I want to start off with the rope pushdowns, as I feel like it gives me the greatest range of motion and the most amount of contraction. If you do this correctly, you'll get a massive pump, and it's also more light weights compared to other tricep exercises where you can kind of load up a bit. This will hit the medial and the lateral heads of the triceps, which are shown when you look at the triceps from the side, or like a side profile. Bend slightly at the hips and lean forward. Keep your elbows by your side. We bend forward a bit because it helps us to get more range of motion. And when you bring the cable down, make sure your elbows don't flare out. This is important for pretty much every tricep exercise, so yeah, keep those elbows down. And then notice how on the bottom of the movement, I'm turning my palms downward. This extra movement at the end is going to allow you to contract your triceps even more than just the movement of the basic pull down. So for my first 2 sets, I do 10 reps each, and then I go heavier and I do 8 reps for the last 2. Then after that, we'll grab a bar and we'll do a similar movement again with the tricep pushdowns. We can go much heavier with this exercise because stabilizing a bar is so much easier than stabilizing a cable. Up the weight a few notches and do 8 to 10 reps. Personally, I was feeling a bit tired by now, as you can tell, so I wasn't going as heavy as I could have with lower reps. I ended up doing 4 sets of 10 reps, but my phone was starting to die, and I was only able to get limited amounts of recording from here on out. This exercise is similar in position to skull crushers and other variations of that type of tricep movement, and these exercises are always going to be the ones where you can go the heaviest. Variety is really important, and going heavy every rep and every set is not necessary for focusing on hypertrophy. Alright, so the last exercise, and I'm going to focus on the stretch. I'm doing overhead tricep extensions with the cable. Again, since this is our last exercise for today, I'm going to rep out close to failure. I think I did a set of 12 reps and then 3 sets of 10 reps. If you were pushing yourself accordingly, this exercise should be pretty hard for you to lock out your triceps by now. But if you're up for an extra challenge, you can kind of turn your palms outwards in the upper end of the movement, kind of like how we did it on the cable pushdowns. So like I said earlier, this just provides us with a little bit of an extra squeeze, and then the tight contraction really helps tear up those muscle fibers for extra growth. This exercise hits the long head of the tricep, which is the largest muscle in the triceps and thus correlates to bigger arms if you can reliably, hit it correctly. So all in all, that's a beginner chest and tricep workout, which we focused exclusively on muscle growth. Everything from the higher volume and focus away from heavy sets to the extra contractions and working till muscle failure is going to really drive the hypertrophy of what we worked out today. If you're still new to working out, don't be alarmed if you're super sore tomorrow. Just getting adjusted to higher volume and tighter squeezes, it'll let you more consistently hit each muscle to the extent that we did today. For newer lifters, I'm sure you're all impatient to see progress. Follow this workout for around 3 to 4 weeks, and I promise you'll be noticeably bigger, more defined, and stronger as well. I could pretty much personally guarantee that. So yeah, thanks for sticking around till the end. I'm still looking to see which direction I should take this channel, as this is probably going to be my second video only, and everyone's feedback, both good and bad, helps. If you guys are interested, I'll have a push day video coming out soon, but other than that, good luck, peace.
Sarap pakai right. Okay, thank you.